Welcome, friends. My name is Avinash and I welcome all of you for this interesting episode in another face-to-face company series, where we introduce, promising corporates which are listed, and we talk about their business, we talk about their future expansion plans. And friends, today we have a very interesting company by the name of the Sukhjit Starch and Chemicals Limited. It is a very old company in the business. It is the number two player in the derivative starch segment, which is a value-added segment. And we have the pleasure of having Mr. Bhavdeep Sardana ji. He is the key promoter, vice president, and CEO of the company. And we also have Mr. MG Sharma, who is the CFO of the company. Gentlemen, thank you very much for both of you for sparing your valuable time today and talking to us.
Thank you,
Avinash ji.
तो भावदीप जी, मेरा पहला सवाल आपसे ये रहेगा कि इस कंपनी की बिजनेस जर्नी के बारे में बताइए। 75 साल पुरानी कंपनी है। कौन डेरिवेटिव्स मार्केट में बहुत लोग ये कंपनी को इतना मेरे ख्याल से मार्केट में तो बहुत सिलेक्टेड फ्यू जानते हैं। तो इसकी बिजनेस जर्नी के बारे में बताइए, थोड़ा सा बिजनेस मॉडल बताइए, आपकी कैपेसिटी कितनी है और कहाँ-कहाँ प्लांट्स लोकेटेड है। शुरुआत अगर आप इससे कहें तो इट विल बी रियली बी गुड।
So thank you, Avinash ji, for this opportunity. And Sukhjit Starch and Chemicals Limited was established in 1943 in Phagwada, Punjab. हमारी जर्नी वहां से शुरू हुई। हमारा एक प्लांट, जो पहला प्लांट लगा 1943 में, वहां से अब हमारी 4 लोकेशंस हैं। कंपनी इज प्रेजेंट इन पंजाब, हिमाचल प्रदेश, वेस्ट बंगाल एंड तेलंगाना। हम लगातार नई लोकेशंस पे जाते गए एंड वी वर द फर्स्ट मल्टी लोकेशनल, rather we were the biggest multi-locational company till recent times. Others have copied our model, but we were the first in this line to take food processing और जो maize processing जो हम करते हैं to near our customers. So coming to our business model has always been to serve key customers and key markets in areas near to our locations. The company is grinding the largest as corporate entities is concerned. आपने कहा कि we are number 2. Yes, we could be between top 3 for sure with a good market share. So कंपनी की फिलॉसफी हमेशा यही रही है to keep growing in all our locations and also to continue searching for new locations and new avenues where we can grow the overall business. And as you can see from our numbers, हमारी last expansion हुई, जब वो complete हुई, so the company has shown healthy growth in top line and a big quantum change has happened in the bottom line as well.
भावदीप जी, आपकी मार्केटिंग और डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन के बारे में थोड़ा बताइए। इफ यू कैन टेल अस हाउ द मार्केटिंग एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन इज पोजीशनड फॉर योर कंपनी, बिकॉज यू आर बेस्ड इन पंजाब. So is it a regional market which you cater, or do you have customers across pan India? If you could add some color on this.
Yeah, sure. So Avinash, as I mentioned, we are present in 4 states, and yes, we are headquartered out of Punjab, but we have a presence in Telangana since 1983. We have a presence in West Bengal since 2003. We have a 2001. We have a presence in Himachal Pradesh since 2007, and Punjab we've been here for the longest. So each of our unit services customers in a radius of 700 to 1000 kilometer around the units. So the marketing and the sales channel partners are all local to the units. The company itself interacts with the institutional buyers, who could be common to maybe 3 out of or all 4 units. There are some customers who buy from all of our units because they value the brand Sukhjit, they value the quality, they value the service. So pretty much our marketing outreach, we know what's happening in the country because of our 4 locations in 4 corners of the country where we are present. One could argue that Telangana is more central, but I call it as South Central. I call it as the gateway to South India. And that gives us a very good perspective of the markets, and we leverage our unit locations to service those areas. The only place where I would say we are lacking is in the western part of the country, but we do service certain customers in those markets out of both our Telangana unit and our Punjab.
Okay, fine. Bhavdiji, tell me one thing that, primarily I was reading about your company. You all are largely into the value-added starch derivatives market, where you get a better kind of contribution
Yeah.
in terms of profit margins. Tell me one thing in terms of your revenue breakup. अगर पिछले साल की बात करें, मार्च 22 जो क्लोज हो गया है, उसमें अगर हम देखें तो कितना, कैन वी गेट अ रेवेन्यू ब्रेकअप ब्रॉडली फ्रॉम योर साइड कि कितना परसेंटेज एफएमसीजी से आता है, कितना परसेंटेज कोई दूसरे सेक्टर, सो सेक्टरली इफ यू कैन गिव अस सम आइडिया कि कौन से सेक्टर्स को सुखजीत स्टार्च केटर्स, आपके कस्टमर्स कौन कौन से सेक्टर से आते हैं, और मोटा मोटी अगर आप हमको बताएं कि कितना परसेंटेज से एफएमसीजी आता है या कोई और सेक्टर से आता है, ये बारे में अगर आप थोड़ी जानकारी।
So, I'll broadly speaking, I'll share some insight, and I'll try to answer your question without disclosing too much of confidential information. See, there have been changes in the marketplace, and the marketplace keeps changing in terms of some sectors are do well, some sectors lag behind. Textile used to be a big earner for the country, and we were servicing the textile market. But since textiles is going through its own cyclical challenges, but on the other hand, the paper sector, and I'm talking about starches here, product, and then in the product segment, there are applications. So while starches has industrial applications for textile and paper, so this keeps fluctuating. But the company has a product range and acceptability of even basic starches customized to customer requirement. So let's say, if I work with the top waste paper manufacturer, or if I work with the top pulp to paper manufacturer, their specifications could be different.
Okay.
And we have the wherewithal to work with these customers to supply them those starches. Similarly for textile. So if we need to give a special binding starch or a special viscosity starch, we have that. So whenever these sectors go up and down, or they increase in demand, we gear up. And due to our, different locations have different, so let's say the South unit has more textile units as compared to North. So we are servicing different sectors from different areas as well, as the case may be.
So fine, very nicely articulated, Bhavdipji. Please tell me, in terms of a broad, kind of sector composition, like, without taking customer names, Bhavdipji, अगर आप हमको बताएं कि सर 2-3 ऐसे कौन से सेक्टर्स है जहां पे आपका डोमिनेंस है, सुखजीत इज नोन फॉर देयर क्वालिटी.
So textile and paper both. Historically, if I talk about Somnur, Tirchangod, Erode, Coimbatore, we are still a brand name there. And it's been 45 years servicing that market, and we are considered a premium brand as far as starches is concerned. So the fact that I have taken those that cluster's name should tell you that, as the promoter level, how involved we are in making sure that we get this thing. So we have a good name, irrespective of how the textile cycle is going. As far as paper starches is concerned, is again a forte. We work with the who's who of the paper industry, and paper industry is scattered across the country. So there is biomass to paper, there is natural pulp to paper, there is waste to paper. So we pretty much work in all corners of the country with the paper industry. And it's a good cycle for them. And I think it's going to continue for the paper sector, and it will have a good impact on our products as well, a positive impact. Um, we also have a very significant impact on the FMCG products. Now, FMCG products, if you want to include um, uh, oral hygiene, toothpaste, or you want to include certain over-the-counter infant formula, where again specialized products such as sorbitol and maltodextrin powder, which goes into infant nutrition, or those protein powders. So we make these bulking agents for the key brands which are being sold in the country. For oral hygiene, we work with the amongst the, if I were to say, the top 5 toothpaste manufacturers, we work with at least 3 of them.
Okay.
So, it gives you our outreach, an idea of our outreach. We are known for our glucose for confectionery, and we work with the most international brands, whether it is chewing gum to soft filled eclair type of candy or a hard boiled candy. So products are very well known.
Okay.
And to take it up a notch further, to talk about more value added, and that's where the USP is. I think, and we would be amongst the top 2 manufacturers of very high hygiene products which go into pharmaceutical usage. Sorbitol I mentioned was one product. It has IP certification conforming. We also conform to BP and USP specifications we can conform to. And we also manufacture anhydrous dextrose, which is the injectable form of glucose.
Okay.
So, that finds its use in healthcare. And that is something which we pride ourselves in, and how we run our plants. And so that, apart from this, we have animal nutrition, where we work with all the poultry and the cattle feed manufacturers around us. So some products go into that. But so these are, broadly speaking, the major buckets of products versus applications, which I've listed.
Fine. Bhavdeep, tell me one thing, that now post-COVID, normalcy has come, everything has settled down. If you could tell us, what is the ground reality? How is business shaping up? In the next, say, 6 to 12 months, how do you see the market growing for your products? And typically, as far as these starch, derivatives, these specialty segments which you cater, how big could be this market in India? What is the kind of opportunity size? If you could give some broad idea as to what is the opportunity size like.
So I'll need some help on data from Mr. Sharma, but I'll tell you that per capita consumption of starch and starch derivatives in India is at 20% of China levels, and is at about 10% of US levels.
Okay.
Right now, if we go from a $5 trillion economy to maybe a $10 trillion economy, 5 तो होने वाला है, and 10 भी जल्दी हो जाएगा. And if they say this is India's century, and if we have to do the heavy manufacturing what China is shying away from, India, with its tighter environmental laws, with its tighter focus on sustainable growth, and a faster adoption of tougher standards from day one. We saw with the GSM technology, the Indian laws are the way the government is working, and the way Indian manufacturers have responded to conforming to sustainable challenges, I think the China plus one strategy is going to play out a little bit longer. So I see India, the starch and the starch derivatives market growing in tandem with our economy. Maybe Mr. Sharma can give pinpointed statistics.
Yeah, I think Sharma ji, if you can add little color on, what,
Yeah, actually, what he said that starch consumption is 65 per capita in US, and against that is just 2 kg in India. And in China, it is 6 kg plus. So there's a lot of scope for our starch business to grow. And in the past, if we see that, then our industry has grown almost at the double the rate of the GDP.
Okay.
So that I think can continue for another 5 to 10 years till we reach at least a reasonable level of 3-4 kg per capita consumption of starch. Yeah.
Acha, Sharma ji, one important question which I wanted to ask from the financial angle. In our entire cost breakup, what could be the percentage of, power, then raw materials? I mean, अगर 100 रुपए का, आप सेल करते हो, तो उसमें मेन कॉस्ट कंपोनेंट क्या रहेगा हमारा, whether it is going to be the price of corn, energy plus employee cost. So if you could give us
Yeah,
some
generally it is corn cost. It varies from 60 to 66 or 67%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So it generally
second कौन सा बड़ा cost होगा?
Energy cost is around say 50%.
Okay. Okay.
So these are two major costs. Our employee cost is below 5%. Interest cost is also just 2%. It's not very high. So other costs, but major cost is raw material cost and energy cost.
So basically, it is mainly the raw material cost. So I can assume that your contribution margin and your operating margins. Can one assume that this is more or less the same because main cost तो आपका corn का ही होता है?
Corn, yeah, you can say that.
Achha, Sharma ji, one more question which is related to finance. If you could, tell us what is the normal working capital cycle in our business? Since हमारा जो main raw material है, it is corn. Basically, I want to understand how does the company plan its corn inventory? Because corn inventory जितना आप stock करते हो, उसको आप आगे process करते हो. So if you could tell us how the working capital is managed from your side, from the company side. And if you could give us some idea about corn prices, because I've been reading a lot of reports saying that corn prices were very, very volatile last year. Now, what is the ground level situation on corn prices?
Yeah, it is becoming comfortable now, and we have already seen 5 to 10% fall in the corn prices.
Okay.
In the wake of good crop coming in Bihar, good Rabi crop rather we are expecting in Bihar, Maharashtra, Telangana, and Andhra Pradesh and others. So that is the thing. And regarding working capital cycle, I would say that it depends from location to location because some of our locations have access to all the two crops uniformly. So they generally go from, I say, 1 or 2 months, maximum 3 months. But some units have to stock up for 5 to 6 months. So on an average, it around 3 to 4 months. Okay. For the company. Yeah.
But Sharma ji, this 3 to 4 months, what you are mentioning on working capital, it is largely because of inventory, right? I mean, inventory.
Only that is a raw material, only maize.
Okay.
It's corn, nothing.
So normally, just to understand the business, Sharma ji, normally when does the stocking take place? Like corn का product market में कब आता है? When do you start, building inventory for corn? Like typically, is it October, November, or maybe April, May? How does it work?
First build-up starts in the month of May and June when we receive Rabi crop.
Okay.
And second build-up starts in October, November when we receive the Kharif crop, which is the major crop in India.
Okay. So basically, you mean the third quarter and maybe the first quarter. I mean, that is the time when you build inventory, right?
Yeah, second quarter rather.
Second quarter. Okay.
And third quarter, yeah.
Okay. And normally, Sharma ji, whichever customers company caters to, assuming corn के prices थोड़े से घटते हैं, they come down. I mean, what is the kind of pricing kind of scenario in your industry? Like if corn prices come down, do you have to pass through most of the costs, or basically some part of the drop in prices is taken away by you? So आपको pricing power का थोड़ा benefit मिलता है. I mean, that is what I wanted.
Yeah, we do get that.
हमें मिलता है, we get the pricing power का benefit because of our multi-location. We are able to buck the trend. Sometimes we are able to maximize the margin lag, and sometimes it works both ways. The time lag between price drop or price increase can be 25 days in case you have a larger order book, etc., etc. So it works both ways, but it balances itself out very, very well. And because we are long on con at all locations, being a manufacturer, I think majority of the time it benefits the company.
Okay. Thank you, Bhavdiji, for the answer. Bhavdiji, now tell me one thing, like what is Sukhjit's strategy going forward to increase your market share, to increase your product applications? If you could share some color on that, कि future में आप company को कैसे position करना चाहते हो अगले 2-3 साल में?
See, we've just come off a very large expansion. We commissioned a large capacity in 2020, and in our Punjab, that's the Punjab unit, and that is already working at 75 to 80% capacity utilization. We are debottlenecking to take it up to 90 to 95% utilization, which would be a very unique thing to do in the industry. Similarly, if you see our numbers and what we are going forward, so we've had a very healthy growth, a double-digit growth. For FY23, what we hope to close. And if you see our last 3 quarters results, so I think we are on track for a pretty decent performance as far as the top line is concerned. But to get the momentum going further, as I mentioned, that our overall corn grinding is close to 1,650 tons. We hope to take it to 2,000 tons in the next 16 to 18 months. And work is already underway, and that will ensure that we keep the growth momentum growing. And as a company, we understand that large capacities don't necessarily come out of expansion at sites, but then they need to be a really big, either a green field or a brown field expansion. For that, the company is always evaluating. But at present, we have, as I would say, we want to maximize our locational advantages at the units. So we are evaluating of how we can increase at each site. So partial expansions is underway. Now, exponential expansions we are evaluating, we are studying.
Okay. Sharma ji, just to add to this, what Bhavdiji said, mota moti, agle saal ka, that is FY24 ka, what is the kind of capital expenditure plan which we have? Any kind of thought process on that?
Yeah, it would be around 25 to 30 crores, not more than that, because we have done the same amount this year also. So that will take care of our planned capacity expansion for the next 18 years.
18 months. Okay, and mota moti, Sharma ji, what is the asset turnover in our business? Like हम लोग अगर 100 crore लगाते हैं तो revenue कितना आ सकता है peak level पे?
Two, yeah, it can come at 2x.
Basically 2 times asset turnover, right?
Yeah, 2 to 3x, because it depends on the product portfolio. If you are in high value products, then actually it goes up to 3. Otherwise, it remains around 2.
Bhavdiji, now I wanted to understand what is the competitive landscape in the starch sector. There are very few companies apart from you. So, on that, if you could share some idea कि supply side पे कितना incrementally कितना competition आ रहा है, या there are very few players, like 3-4 ही player है. So, will this continue in future also? Because it is very interesting. This is a very dominant industry in terms of the crop, but in terms of the number of starch derivative players, there are very limited number of companies. Another question which I want to add here is there any import threat for domestic players? क्या imports का threat China से या कोई दूसरा country से हमको problem दे सकता है? So if you could add some color on that.
So as far as on the supply side, if I were to compare apple to apple, there are very few companies, and who I would say are in the pure play starch and starch derivatives business. But the ones that are there, say Sayaji or Tirupati Starch, uh, they everyone is specializing and working in their field or in their area of geography. Where we could compete or where we compete with them is on either quality or acceptability with in certain sectors where there is competition. Then you have Gujarat Ambuja, which is a diversified company. Again, multi-locational like us. There is Gulshan Polyols, again a diversified with a focus now on ethanol. There is then there is a unlisted company, Roke Riddhi Siddhi. Roke is a multinational company. Again, in the pure play, pure starch business, but unlisted. So if I see, if you take them all and you concentrate on their starch business, I think they are all being focused. They are all focusing on the geographies where they are located, or everyone is trying to find a niche in terms of someone is catering to exports, someone is catering to a certain segment. Whereas we try to maximize, like you asked, Mr. Sharma, on the asset turnover ratio, we try to maximize it at every location based on how profitable the product is. It may not be that the most value-added product at times gives you a reasonable volume. It could give you a small volume with good profitability, but scale also needs to matter. So we work on our strategy, we work closely with our customers, and I think and we're doing better than the pure play starch companies.
Okay. Pavadit, now since you told me that how the market is positioned for corn, if you could tell us, what are the key positives of Sukhjit Starch. If you could tell us what is the main competitive moat which your company enjoys, because you all are very old players, almost 75-year-old history. You all have got 3-4 states where you all are operating. So एक सिंपल तरीके से मैं अगर पूछूं कि सर आपका सबसे बड़ा कॉम्पिटिटिव मोट क्या है, एडवांटेज क्या है विसाविस कंपटीशन, if you could just give us some idea on that.
Yeah. So number one is our locations. Our multi locations, the way we work, it's a hedge. Having multiple locations, there could be a bloodbath, or there could be a glut in one geography of the country, but there could be bright spots elsewhere. So that multi-location helps. On the fact that we've not fully realized, now going future mode, is we've not fully realized the full value of each location. It's much easier for us to grow at each location and exponentially. I'm not talking an incremental 20%, 30%, 40%. I'm talking about 2x, 3x type of expansions at each location.
Okay.
Right. So lower management cost, I think if we challenge ourselves, and which we intend to, we can grow at have a very different number to the top line if we and when the time is opportune to grow at each location. So that is the best one. Number two is how the promoters are involved. So we are working alongside the professionals in the company. We understand the commodity business. We understand when to buy the raw material. We are cognizant of the fact that energy being the second most important cost bucket in our mix, is important. So there's a constant need by the management to keep a control on cost.
Okay.
Right. So the way we are involved, and so that's very important. And our team is as important. So we're lucky to have that. And it's been like that, led by our erstwhile MD and our current MD. They've been very forthright in saying, to take the team forward together. And we work pretty hard on that. And thirdly is our focus on quality. We listen to the customer, whether it's a small candy manufacturer in Ulhasnagar to a small loom operator in Tirchangod. We listen to them. We make the product according to them. No customization order is too small. If a truckload is at 25 tons today, but if a customer wants 5 tons of a particular product, if we can make it, we will make it. So that kind of ease of operability and service, not necessarily at a very higher cost differential, weds the customer to us for the long term. So these are some attributes. Maybe Mr. Sharma wants to add something else.
You have fairly covered most of the things, yeah.
So fine. I think Sharma ji, one finance related question which I want to ask you is that as of December, what could be our total, borrowings on the balance sheet, both short term, long term, if we add, what could be the number as of December 22?
December 22.
Yeah, I mean, as of the third quarter of financial year FY23.
So far, our bank borrowings, long-term borrowings for the projects are just below 50 crores.
Okay.
Our working capital, that just goes with the stocks we hold.
Okay. But
Yeah.
any plans of basically repaying this debt, or you'll be maintaining this debt hopefully in the coming year also?
I think it will go down only. We are not planning to increase our debt.
Okay. So basically
we are taking care of our internal crores.
Okay. So whatever capital expenditure you mentioned about 25-30 crores, that is going to be funded largely from your cash flow.
Internal, yeah. Those are sufficient to take care of that.
Okay. Achha, Sharma ji, one more thing which I wanted to ask you is that, your company's, performance in December 22, I was seeing, revenue growth was good. Obviously the tonnage and the number, the percentage growth looks pretty good. But on the margin side, we have seen that margins have come down to single digits. करीबन 9% का EBITDA margin आ गया, जो मेरे ख्याल से पिछले दिसंबर में it was about 13-14%. So, can you tell us what is the reason for this fall? I mean, is it because of rise in corn prices, rise in other?
Only that factor, you must have noticed that our raw material cost has gone up by 300 bps.
Okay.
Only that only, and our 3 units which comprise more than 80% of our capacity are located, away from the kharif crop generally. Kharif crop coming from Maharashtra, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh. So this year we did face the difficulties in procurement. Difficulty only cost-wise. Yeah. So that added to our cost, and that way our profits were hit.
No, fine. I am just wanting to understand that now you mentioned corn prices have started coming down by 5-10%. They have coming down. So when can we expect the benefit for the company in terms of slightly lower raw material prices?
As I mentioned that now those units which were away from the kharif crop, now they are near to the rabi crop.
Okay.
So those locations we will have that advantage of raw material in the coming months.
So because Bhavdi ji, for a company having a EBITDA margin of 14% is definitely a very good achievement. If you come back to those levels, hopefully in the coming year, in the next financial year, that is FY24, तो सर ये मार्केट को बहुत पसंद आएगा, because ये आपका परफॉर्मेंस भी झलकेगा, प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी भी बढ़ेगी. So we are hoping that next year we will come back to your 13-14% EBITDA margins. I think Sharma ji, what do you think? Is it possible for us, or will it take a little longer?
It should be possible, I think. Next, early. This will start early next year.
Okay, and I think it's very good to hear from you. Bhavdi ji, now I want to understand one further, investment which the company has made. I was reading that you all have done a lot of investment in this Sukhjit Mega Food Park and Infra Limited. If you could give us some idea, what is the investment the company has made here? What is the update on this project? And basically, what is the main strategy of the company to actually invest in this food park? इससे हमारा क्या फायदा होगा आगे चल के? What is the kind of synergies you see for that? If you could share your thoughts here.
So the food park has been a small investment the company did alongside the new investment in our maize processing unit in Punjab. And the plant was the mega food park project was fully commissioned in 2020, and I'm pleased to share that 65% of the assets created under are being utilized for operations. And it was an infrastructure project. It's an infrastructure project where the benefit has also come to shoehorn in our maize processing unit within the confines of the mega food park. So the corn processing unit is the anchor unit of the food park. So it's a lot of synergies. It also opens up new lines of business opportunities for the company in terms of frozen vegetables. We are at present processing frozen peas, and we've also ventured into cold store storage rental business. And similarly, there are industrial plots which we've developed, and we are due to COVID, we could not market these well because of the overall, subdued scenario for new locations by food processing companies. But going forward, I think the way things are opening up, and Punjab was a little bit slow in rolling out its new investment policy and industrial policy, since this food park is located in Punjab. Since now that is also in the public domain, we hope that the utilization levels will improve going forward. And as far as the performance of this food park business is concerned, I think we are cash positive. Mr. Sharma can talk more about that. And it offers a good synergy to our maize processing business. Apart from the infrastructure which is shared, the goodwill the company enjoys because of the outreach activities the food park is doing on other perishables. We are trying to encourage maize growing in the area, etc. So overall, I think it's a very positive impact on our main business, which is the starch business, the maize processing business. So it's a good added flavor or an added feather to give extra wind to our maize business. As far as the financials of the food park are concerned, Mr. Sharma can elaborate more on it.
Yeah, Sharma ji.
We are operating at 60% of our capacity so far in this infra project is concerned. And most of its services are paid to the anchor unit only, our maize processing unit. Okay. So that way, I think cash-wise, we don't have any problem. It is generating cash, but unless it goes up to the operating capacity of 80% or 80% plus, then only we will start having profits, bottom line, yeah, pure bottom line.
And Sharma ji, what was the total capital expenditure we have incurred for this infrastructure project? कितना पैसा डाला था?
इसका food product, this
food park का.
Food park 100 crores plus.
Okay. And Bhavdev ji, now my last question is, just to conclude, our session is that, in our business, what could be the single most risk factor? हमारे धंधे में सबसे बड़ा risk factor क्या हो सकता है? And secondly, what is the kind of risk mitigation which company has been doing, to ensure that if an event like this also happens, then also we are going to come out, flying with flying colors. So, agar, if you can share.
So, the biggest example of a risk which happened in the entire world during COVID, we realized that we were so well insulated in terms of maintaining sustainable operations because of our 4 locations. We were up and running. Rather, we voluntarily shut down our units for 7 days at one location to ensure that we could comply and inbuild safety and safeguards. So being multi-location mitigates all the risks, whether it is crop, whether it is a production failure, having large capacities scattered across the country with a product portfolio scattered also across the country, and the way we set our plants up to ensure continuity in operations mitigates that any risk there could be in the business or untoward, and the fact that our focus has been towards health and wellness as well has ensured that in government rules and requirements that we continue to function to support the pharmaceutical industry, the food industry, the daily essentials industry. Oral hygiene is also a daily essential, not only intravenous glucose. So as a company, we are in the right space. As a company, we are an essential industry. As a company, being diversified into X many products and in multi-location, I think risk mitigation is there in our business model, inbuilt in our business model.
Anyway, I think Bhavdev and Sharma thank you very much for your valuable time. In fact, viewers, this has been a very productive session, and I think all of you would like. So if you like the video, please share it with your friends. Bhavdev once again, thank you very much, and best wishes to you and your company.
Thank you. Thank you.